Hi, we are live. Welcome to Monday. Tammy loves this design. It is so pretty. I love all of these edge to edge designs, Tammy. They are pretty. The one that was shown on the advertisement, though, is not the one we're doing tonight. We are doing the one that you see now. Debbie, so good to see you. 92 degrees in Glendale. Yes, it's warming up there. And no, it's not warming up here. Hi, Monica from Durand, and Pam from Maine is here. Linda, my friend from Ravenna, New York, and Jean Brooks from Mount Vernon, Washington. So tonight, what we have planned for you is I told you last week I would go back to the number one feather design. And I do really want you guys to remember that we are doing representations of these designs. They're not necessarily able to be duplicated exactly. So that's what we're looking at tonight, okay? Hopefully, it's not a disappointment to you. Hi, Allison is here from Fort Myers, Florida. Welcome, Kelly from Arizona. It is warm there. And Evelyn, my friend, is here from New Haven, Indiana. Vonnie, my buddy from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Haven't gotten down there at all this winter, Vonnie. It's just been crazy. Hi, Donna from North Carolina. So nice to see you. So what we're gonna do tonight, I'm gonna show you, this is, remember the quilt I made? This is it. And Mary Lou from Venice, Florida. Hopefully you like it. Um, what we're going to do tonight, I have already drawn out. I am a drawer. What can I say? Uh, oh goodness, Donna said they're renaming North Carolina Yellow State, at least for 2 more weeks. The pollen has covered everything in yellow, cannot leave the house. Donna, I know the feeling of cannot leave the house. Everything here is covered in white day after day. Oh goodness. We we just keep getting snowstorms. It's weird. Oh, and Nancy, good to see you. It's been a while. Oh, Bonnie, thank you. Barb is here from Hortonville, Wisconsin. So let's talk about what I did with this design. If you remember, last week we did this one. This week we're going to do this one. Now, I realize this is a feather design and this is a feather. However, to draw out or to stitch out this design the way it is, the feather template turned out to be too big. So we're going to use instead one of our spin effects. Actually, we're going to use a couple spin effects. So let's go ahead. I'm going to get stuff moved to the side here and we will get started, okay? And yes, I do have my templates tonight in my template stand so that I don't have trouble losing them on my table like I usually do. Hi, Lisa. Lisa's here from Sugarland, Texas, and Rita is here from Northern Victoria, Australia. I would imagine, Rita, that your weather over there is starting to cool off a little bit. Well, some of us over here are warming up, but it sure isn't me, I'll tell you that. Okay, let's take a look at the big one first. Okay, and what I used on that one was a Spinifex 7 that actually worked out for me. So we have two sizes. We have the 5.5 and we have the 3.5. What we're going to do tonight too is we're going to use some of our minis because we need really tiny little rotations here. So I want to go ahead and get started. This called for an 8-point rotation. And what I like about this, it's something that I never thought of doing before. I'm going to be honest with you, doing different sizes in the same design. So let's move you over here so you can see what's going on. Well, goodness. Oh my goodness, my camera just came off of the stand. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, okay, there we go. Got it back on. Now let's get it lined up so you can see what's going on here. There we go. Okay, I think we've got it. Yeah, actually, I don't like it there. I think it's easier for you to see if I put it over this way. I got too many working parts here, guys. And all right, I think we got it now. I'm sorry about that. Everything just kind of loosened up and went cattywampus on me. Okay, let's see who else is here. Linda, my Michigander friend. Um, Judy is here, also from Greenleaf, Wisconsin. Carla spent her day playing with Strand of Hearts and Artisan Mini Multi-Circles template. Ooh, that quarter-inch circle. It works great, doesn't it, Carla? I love it. Well, Jan, hi. It is so good to see you. I've been worrying about you. Mariella, hello from Dover. And Ronnie is here from northeastern Arizona. Betty here from Oregon. Hello from a stormy, snowy Michigan, Linda. You must live in the UP. It's snowing now. Yeah. Let me look out the window. Yeah, sadly it is here too. I'm in Iron Mountain. Hi, Guyleen is here from Wyoming. So good to see you. Okay, so what we're going to do with our larger size is we are only going to do the vertical centers with this size of template. And there we go. Get us lined up. I'm going to go ahead and pull that bobbin thread up. I really like to do that. I think it just helps to prevent thread nests in the back. And there we are. And my foot can find my foot pedal. I'll be really happy. I like to take one stitch in place. And I do need, I thought I had this thing, my foot. Well, my goodness. Can you believe it? I actually have it so tight that I can't loosen it. Well, let me see. I've got to be careful so I don't run over a dog here. Because, yes, I have dogs under my feet. I always have dogs under my feet. And where did my little tool go? There it is. There we go. We got it. Now I'm just going to let it come up and fall at its own place. Realign everything so we don't mess up that design. There we go. Much, much better. Now you'll see I'm coming up on some seam allowances here, but when I allowed my foot to find its own level, it precluded me from having any trouble getting over those seam allowances. Isn't that awesome? The other thing that I always like to talk about is the fact that I'm going to shorten up those stitches going around curves. What that's going to do is it's going to make the design much smoother looking. If we make big stitches going around curves, it's going to look choppy. And nobody likes choppy stitches. At least I don't. Okay, take your time. This is not a sprint, it is a marathon. And I find that if you stitch at a rate that you are comfortable with and you get the results you want, that is what is most important. Okay, coming right back to the center and going to stop with my needle down. There we go. Now I am going to go ahead and I am going to trim this thread. Remember, this is a practice piece. So I'm not going to take the time to go ahead and tie it in. We're just going to snip it off. Okay, now what I've done is I've changed to the 3.5 inch. Okay, and let's see who else has popped in on us. Oh, Diane's here from Queensland. Hi, Diane, and Joyce from Fairfield, California. I'm sure you have nice weather down there. Oh, Susan got here just a little bit late from South Carolina. The templates we're using tonight, Susan, this particular one is Spinifex 7. We're going to use the 6-inch spiral. We're going to use the Spinifex 13. We're going to use the feathered leaf. We're going to use a lot of templates tonight, a lot of different ones, but they will all serve a good purpose. All righty, here we go. Now, this is our 3.5-inch Spinifex 7. And this is going to give us the closest look to the actual embroidered design. And right, look at that, right over that seam allowance, and it never even flinched. I love it when that happens. And with my Spinifex, I do like to go opposite sides from one side to the other. It helps to draw that fabric in more evenly and helps us avoid weightiness in our fabric. Now, this is a big seam allowance, guys. Okay, my foot just told me I'm not going another stitch further till you readjust me. So I went ahead, loosened the foot, allowed it to come up a little bit. Now I'm going to move forward slowly, cautiously, and there we go over that great big seam allowance. And we haven't missed a stitch. Isn't that awesome? Now we're going to go ahead and come around. And because I don't have any more thick seams like that, I'm going to go ahead and put my foot back so that the bottom of the foot is just kissing the top of that fabric. And you'll see a normal seam allowance, such as I have here, does not affect that foot. It does not need to be adjusted. Okay, there we go. Let's get this one out of the way next. Oh, well, this one isn't going to be as bad because right here, you see this portion here is where I had all of these different seams coming together, but it looks great, doesn't it? So if you have big seam allowances that you're traveling over, don't forget to just go ahead, get to where your foot will no longer move, and we might hit that here. No, we didn't. Anyway, just then go ahead and loosen up the foot. The foot will automatically find its place here. And not because of any mechanical things. It just wants to be at the top of that fabric, just kissing that fabric. So here we go. Now, on the other side of the coin, we don't want that foot to be so loose that we can hear the difference and we're skipping stitches. If you start skipping stitches after you've loosened your foot up a little bit, that means it needs to be tightened back down on the top of the fabric. We only have two more of these. And here we go. Now, here is another spot we have. Three different seams coming together, but we shouldn't have too much of a problem because what you can see is we're going to be coming inside of where those seams meet. And it will depend on how those seams were pressed. If they were pressed all towards this way, we might have had a problem, but they likely were not. So here we go. And we have one more rotation. Okay. Oh, you know what I forgot, guys? Okay, Mary's here from Riverland, South Australia. Okay, I don't. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now we're gonna get back. Now we're gonna get back there. Okay. I forgot to put that up there for you tonight. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not sure that the Deal Day 20 coupon has been set up for this week. I will need to call So Steady tomorrow and talk to somebody over there because Stacy is on a badly needed vacation. Okay. So I don't know for a fact if it's been put in or not. But if it hasn't, we'll take care of that first thing in the morning. You just let me know, okay? All right, and this is our last rotation. Now, what you may have noticed on this rotation is I was stitching a little faster than I normally do. And when I stitch a little faster than I normally do, I also move my hands a little faster than I normally do. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take that out. I'm going to put it right back here in my into. Hmm, what am I missing here? Okay. Oh, I guess I'm not missing anything. Okay, so what I want to do next, I want to come over here. I want to come over here and set up this particular one here. I may have to make it a little shorter because I came a little quicker over to the edge. Unless I can make it come out this way. How you like that? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my 6-inch spiral here, and I'm just gonna get it down to about this point right here. And at that point, this is gonna be kind of a severe circle. At this point, I want to flatten out a little bit. I have two ways of doing that. I can freehand that, or I can switch over to my 12-inch arc, and that is going to flatten things out considerably. Okay, I'm going to put this guy away right here first. And let's go ahead and get this I call it a severe circle. It's not severe, it's just a little curlier. There we go. Now, it's really not difficult to switch from one to the other. What you see there is look at how beautiful that is. And could we have gone the whole way with that? Yes, we could have, but I don't think it would have worked as well for the feather. Okay, so I'm just going to come out. I'm going to set that here, set that 12-inch arc. Now, when you look at this, you're not going to notice that little tiny bump in there. Okay, and oh, whoops, just going to go a little bit further. And I'm going to stop right here. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to look here. Okay. The first thing I want to do is I want to put a finial on the upper end of that, the same way that it is in in the printed out version right here. And this is the finial that I'm talking about. Let me get that light so you can see what I'm talking about here. This is the finial right here. Now, because our finials in our feathered leaves are all too big for this particular design, remember I'm drawing it on a smaller scale. You can draw it on a larger scale and use the proper templates, okay? Let's go ahead and turn that back on so you can see. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the Spinifex 7, and this is the mini, and it is 1.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to go all the way around with that. Now, the bad thing about this is that I have got my stable tape on the top instead of the bottom. There we go. My foot is going to stop right there. You'll notice I just went ahead and loosened it up so that there we go. It My foot just still is kissing the top of my template. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Now, what I plan to do here is put that away so it doesn't get lost. I'm going to come back to here to start. So I can do that easily by using my spacing gauge and my 12-inch arc. And you'll see everything will line up perfectly. And here we go. Now, if you really want to, you can free motion this. When you're free motion traveling, I like to tell my students the best thing you can do for yourself is stay slow and steady and don't stop. Every time we stop, like I just did there, we're taking the chance of possibly jarring our template or our hands, and we may end up with a little bit of a mishap there. Okay, there we go. All the way back. And you see, that's really beautifully stitched. We're not going to have any problem there. Can you see this? I want to make sure you can see that little finial there. And there, it's right here. Ever so cute. Isn't that adorable? I love it. Okay, so what I used, and when I draw things out, guys, I write what I used, the size that I used, and every other piece of information that may be helpful to me. What will I do with this? I will keep this piece of paper. I will keep it in a folder with all of the different drawings that I've made for this project. So, what we need here is Spinifex 13, and we need the 3.5-inch size. And let me find it. Well, hello. It was the first one, and I didn't even see it. Let's see who else is here. Debbie said she's glad Stacy is taking a break. She works so hard. You know, you guys, that's a lot, Debbie. She really does. I don't think a lot of you probably have you're not having all of us to take care of and listen to, and we call her all times of the day and night, and she always has time to listen to us and to help us. Plus, she's running the company. So, yeah, it's tough, but she does a great job and she does it with grace. Deanna is here from Prineville. Hi, Deanna. So good to see you. And Ellen has made it from Delaware. Ah, Lee, my friend, you're here from Spencerville. And Janice is here from Massachusetts. So good to see you all tonight. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and take take my tape off. We are going to be going in both directions on this guy. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, put it back on backwards. This is always so very trying. I can't think of another word for it. Okay. It just sometimes, maybe it needs to go in this way. Yeah. There we go. Okay. It sometimes can be trying. Yes. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run two of these feathers here. And what I like about using the spin effects is it's a lot easier to get the bottom edge to come together. There's one. Take this off, turn it over. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. And there we go. I'm going to take it the other direction. Ooh, my foot is just a little bit loose, guys. There we go. And we're gonna come around and come back, keeping those stitches just a little bit shorter than I normally would. And the reason being is we're going to keep that roundness really smooth. Now I'm just gonna travel. This time I'm going to travel without my template. Mm, yeah, right about there. It looks good. We don't want these feathers to go over one another, but we do want them to come very close to one another. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip this again. Okay, I'm going to try to flip this again. There we go. Oh my goodness. Can we tell it's Monday? I think so. There we are. Again, I don't want this stitching to come over the last feather, but I want it to come close. So what you can do is use your 1/8 inch instead of your 1/4 inch. That will tell you it will be close, but it's not going to stitch over it. And that's perfect. And here we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this one off and we are going to travel up a way. Now I'm going to free motion travel here, which you are absolutely welcome to do. Or if you would like, you certainly can use your 12-inch arc. So now I'm going to take my Spin Effects 13, and this is going to be my mini. It's going to be my 2.5 inch. Okay, I'm going to put it on just like this. This one's going to be a little tougher to get that in there. So if you're lucky, you've got needle channels instead of gates. Okay, this one again, I don't want them to overlap one another. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up just a couple more stitches. There we go. And don't be afraid to try these things. Try them with any of your templates. You would be surprised when you see templates and they're used in a manner that's a little different than what is prescribed by the insert that comes with your template. Now, this one's going to be quite a bit away from the first two, and that's because of the angle that I use. And there we go. And I'm not even going to take this out. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to stitch up. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, you know what? We may have come up a little too high. No worries. We're just going to go back a tad here. And now I'm going to turn it over. And from the looks of it, I may have to do some traveling up. And you'll see that because of the way that these are angled out. So I'm going to come up a little way, probably to there. That looks good. And we're going to load that. Oh, we're going to get that back in there anyway. There we go. I'm going to come up at a little different angle this time. Remember, we've got a curve going here too, so they are going to be angled differently on one side than they are on the other. Okay, I goofed. Can you tell why? I thought I was going around, but I ended up with this great big seam allowance here, and I flattened the top out a little bit. Not on purpose, okay? But you know what? It's practice. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to go ahead and come up here a few more stitches. Now I'm going to come back out on this side. This time we won't flatten it out. I'm going to say that little guy got a glue cut, that's all. Wonder how many of us in this room right now really remember what a crew cut is. My dad wore one crew cut always. Okay. And this is going to come back in there. Come on now. There we go. It's got to come up a little bit more though. There we go. Beautiful. This is the last one of this size. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to flip this over and put the 1.5 size in here. So I think this is going to keep coming out now. Okay, so let's put it in this way first, okay? I'm going to come up a couple stitches, not very far. And we're going to put one more on this side before I switch it over. Yep, perfect. Now we're going to watch right here because this has got 3 different seams coming together right there. So there we go. My foot has hit a wall right there. It does not want to move. So let's go ahead. There we go. Now what I'm hoping for is that it's going to come back down without having to readjust the foot, and it did. Awesome. Okay, so now we've got to get it on the other side, which means I have to get this off of here, and I think I'll do it this way. It might be easier. There we go. I'll turn it over. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I'm never quite sure which way they go. Okay, we're gonna put one more in here, and we're going to stop. I'm gonna take this out, and there we go. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. I want you guys to see this. I'm gonna turn it over so you can see it on the other side because it's a whole lot more visible. Isn't that gorgeous? Hi, Dee Dee. Dee Dee's here. Um, Dee Dee's here from Las Vegas. Okay, Debbie said, Susan said, yeah, Colleen is here. Dottie is here. Dottie, hi from Florida. Colleen from Iowa. Susan asks, what is the difference between the Spinifex 13 and the feathered leaf templates? You know what, Susan? And Debbie said, could you maybe hold up the leaf and Spinifex next to each other and show the difference? Yes, Deb, I think that's a brilliant idea. Okay, there is the Spinifex 13, and here is the leaf. What you're going to notice, what the difference is the leaf is squattier, if that's a word. I'm not really sure it is, but the leaf is squattier. So this just gives us, for this particular design, I found it easier than to try and get these back on one another. I struggled with that. I'm going to be honest with you. Okay. I think in many other designs it's going to be fine, but in this one I did struggle for it. So this is the difference. Basically, the top of them, you know what? I mean, this is so close to being the same thing. If you look at how they're cut here, they're very, very close, guys. So if you don't have one, use the other. That's all. It's okay. Does that answer your question, Susan? Thank you for the suggestion, Deb. I really appreciate that. It was a good idea. Okay. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Lee. Donna likes it. Will the feathered leaf templates be included in the deal day? Yes, Donna, they will. Dottie, thank you. Yes, they will. And as I said, if it's not up today, just let me know and we'll make sure that that gets up tomorrow right away for you, okay? All right, let's take a look. Whoa, that's what I did. I dropped something, but I don't know what it was. Ah, there it is. It was my stiletto. Okay, so guess what that was? That was my spacing gauge I dropped. Okay, so let's go on up here and I'm gonna get this out and show you where that is. It's this little guy here. And what I'm going to use here is I'm going to use my mini Spin Effects 7, and it's going to be the 2.5 inch. Now, the thing I want to make sure we try to do is get a nice little S curve going from one to the other. And we'll do that after we get this part stitched in. Okay, so let me clean up my mess here. Come back over here. Oh, goodness. There I go. Okay, so this guy's going to be up right about here or here. Yeah, right about in here. So what we need to do is we need to make a crosshair. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware of these, the mini crosshairs. We have a set of mini crosshairs, and there are 3 crosshair rulers in here, 8-point, 6-point, and 5-point. If we wanted to, if we didn't want to put 8 complete rotations in here, we could take this guy out and put 5, or we could take this guy out and put 6. Let's go ahead and do that. You know why? Because we can. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just put this on a little bit of an angle. And you see what I have to do with these guys, because I've got this dark blue fabric right here. I need to use my friction pen. Oops. And I need to use my ceramic pencil. And I'm just going to go like this. And on we go. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to make these fellows cross each other here in the center. Okay. Again, those are the mini crosshair rulers. They come in 3 sizes, 8, 5, and 6. These guys are little guys, and there's a lot of times that those come in real handy. All right, now we're going to take our, what did I say? Oh, our 2.5-inch mini spinifex, number 7. And there it is. What I want you to realize or understand, I guess is a better way of putting it, is that if you're doing these with rulers, and what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take this out, and I'm gonna make sure this time that my staple tape is on my fabric. I didn't do that last time. Um, what I was saying is these designs can be adjusted to display your uniqueness. Okay. You may decide, I don't want to put 8 of those on. I want to put 6 on, just like we're doing here. That's fine. It's okay. Well, police are not going to come and get you. I promise you they won't. Okay. However, what I want you to understand is that the stitching style should remain the same. And what I mean by that is we are making smaller motifs, so our stitch length should be smaller because we want the stitch length to be proportionate to the design. And remember, when we are working with a curve, we also want to keep our stitch length shorter so that the curve is smoother. Okay, so there goes number 2. same thing. We're going across from one reference line across to the second reference line. Now we're going to just turn it. There we go. I slipped a little bit there. I'm not going to let it bother me. This is a practice piece. And if this was my final piece, would I go back and fix that? Yeah, I probably would. Because to me, that one is noticeable. Not everyone is going to be. If it's not noticeable, probably don't need to go back and fix it. Unless, of course, you're OCD, which I am not. There is nobody in here that knows me, right? I'm just kidding. Okay, where are we at? Mary. Oh, Mary Scott. And Lorraine is here from Australia. Welcome, Lorraine. Okay. Quick question. Are you using a Singer treadle machine to do your quilting? Actually, Mary, no, it is not a treadle machine. This is a Singer 301. It's they call it the big sister to the featherweight, but it is a 301, and I have seen people use treadle machines to do free motion stitching, and man alive, they have nice stitches too. They really do. Not to mention, you might get some exercise by using the treadle machine. I used to have one. It was my great aunt's machine. I have since given it to my daughter. I want to make sure it goes down in the family. So she now has it on the loft in her home, which is a great place for it. I'm sure she will keep it there until she's ready to hand it down to her daughter. Okay, and there we go. We have got our 6 rotations. I am going to go ahead and break thread. Isn't that precious? I love this flower. Look at that. But now what we have to do is connect these dies, okay? And the way that it is done on the book is the really nice S curve. So how are we going to make a nice S curve? Well, the way we're going to do that is with our edge to edge templates, which I didn't take out tonight, but I know right exactly where they are. They're never far away. So let's go ahead and get those guys out here, okay? Yeah, I like this one right here. What do you think? This is going to be the edge-to-edge connector 1, and it's the B. And I'm going to turn it backwards, and I'm going to come out here and come back in and meet it at that leaf right there. Okay. Let's get my thread up here. We're going to take some stitches. There we go. And we're going to take a couple short stitches. Okay, so see what's going to happen, guys? I really try not to plan because I want you to see how we need to deal with these things. This is a really thick seam line. So what's going to happen more than likely is my foot is gonna, it's letting me go over it. I thought for sure my foot was gonna bind up there. And here we go. We have now connected them with the same nice looking S curve as is in the book. And I'm gonna go ahead and just clip off these threads. And there we've got it, our nice little S curve. Isn't that adorable? I love it. I love it. Now, the last one on this side is just a little 4 rotation, itsy bitsy teeny tiny. So what we would use on there is our mini spinifex, and we're going to use the 1.5 inch. However, because we are starting to run short on time, I am going to opt not to stitch that one out. I think you guys have a really good grasp on how to stitch out the Spinifex 7th. So what we're going to do, we are going to come out here. Let me show you. We're going to come out of the top and we're going to make an 8-point. And what this is going to be is the Spinifex 13. Okay. And I'm going to use the 3.5 inch on that one. So let's take a look where we want. Here is the orientation of our design. Yeah, it's on this way. So we want it up here somewhere. Let me grab my crosshair. And I think right here looks good. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put it in at an angle. I'm going to make my crosshair in an angle first. I do like to do that first. Now, how do I know I'm making a 90-degree line? Because I have this lined up here. Now we can come back. We've got 4 lines drawn in, and we just need to add these 4. I will tell you, drawing out your lines on a quilt with seams, excuse me, is a little more difficult. You have to watch as you're coming over these seams and not skew it. Okay. Let me see if I got any in here that are. I was real careful when I did these. Sorry, I don't have any to show you other than maybe this little one right here. Right there. All right, I'm going to turn this around. And we are going to do this like we do any. Wait a second. Let me see something. Let's just do these with the feathers, okay? I think we can do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up so that my crosshair comes right on this horizontal line. I'm going to stitch up to that line. Now, when I get to that line, what I'm going to do, this is really important for you to see it, is I'm going to take my spacing gauge, but I'm just going to twist it a little bit, and it's ever so slightly to make sure that I'm going to end up in the center again. So let's go ahead and continue. And we're coming back to the center. Oops, there we go. Okay, now I am going to twist my template again. Again, I have lined up my reference line with this bottom horizontal line. We're going to go ahead and we're going to stitch. Oh, I forgot to twist. That's okay. There we go. No worries. So what I want you to see is I twisted here instead of here, and you can't tell. You really cannot tell the difference. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this thread here, guys. All right, and we're going to line him up again. And what I think that you need to see this other mark line that I'm going by here. I'm lining up this lower horizontal line on the template. Now it's a horizontal line on the template, not on your quilt top. Okay, and I'm lining that up with the needle. Then I am lining up this horizontal line on the template with the reference line on the quilt. And we're going to stop when we get to that horizontal line. Well, we're going to stop earlier than that because my foot just got loose. Okay, there we go. Take it nice and easy. Small stitches, small stitches. Okay, and there I am. Now I'm going to use my spacing gauge and make sure that I'm going to come right back to that center. And I have hit a wall, also known as a thick seam. Nice and slow. I'm over the seam, so now I'm going to go ahead and bring my foot back down to its original position. And what that does is it precludes me from making any skipped stitches. Okay, right there. There we go. So you can see that even though our feathers were not intended to be used as a spinifex, they do make a really nice spinifex. There we go. Let's make a few more here before we have to say goodnight. Okay, there we go. Line it up. I'm going to remind you one more time. Horizontal line on the template will go straight through the needle. This horizontal line on the template will be on our reference line. I'm just starting from the right side each time. Keeping my stitches nice and small and watching my spacing gauge here. Need to. There we go. Perfect. And there. Okay, that's all I'll do because it's getting late. I want you to see this though. And notice how easy it was. For me, it was just as easy as using the spin effects. And the look is gorgeous, right? It is gorgeous. There we go. What do you think of that? That's easy, isn't it? Okay, let's see where we go. Where are we? Lorraine from Australia. Okay, Singer Treadle. Okay, Mary says, I have a Singer 201K treadle, which was my grandma's. Stitches beautifully and thought it might be good to try template quilting on it. I think, Mary, that is a very smart idea. Please try it. Please let me know how it goes, okay? And please post anything you do on it in Westerly by me. We'd love to see it, right, guys? Okay, Monica asked, did you laminate your pages of your Judge lookbook, or is that how it comes in purchase? Okay, Monica, the answer is no to both of those questions. Okay, as educators, because we are using those lookbooks a lot in classes, so Steady does laminate them for us so that when we're using them a lot, they don't get torn up and yucky. But please feel free to laminate them. I think for myself, if the company didn't do it for us, I would probably do it for myself. And the reason being is you can take like a vis-a-vis marker or the dry erase markers, and you can make notes on it for yourself if you want. And if you want to change it, you can go ahead and just wipe it off and do that, Monica. Okay, now, thank you, Lee. Lee loves it. Linda Lombardo says, very nice. Thank you, Linda. Ronnie says, already time seems like we just started. You know what, Ronnie? You're absolutely right. This time goes by so fast. It's unbelievable. And Lee says, so neat that we can use the feather templates as a spinifex. You know, it is. And Lee, one other thing that I hope you all do is take your templates and use them in a way that they're not intended to be used, or find a way that they're not intended to be used, because it is so much fun to figure something out that's off of the beaten path, right? Like my mother told me, you don't have to draw inside of the lines. Go ahead, make a mess. You might end up with a masterpiece on your plate. Oh, Carla, you are looking for suggestions for marking on white. I'm going to give you my favorite, but you take it for what it's worth. Uh, you're not paying anything for it, so you know what? It's worth nothing. But the ones I like are the friction fine liners, okay? And the reason I like them is because the pens sometimes pull on the fabric too hard, where these have a fine, um, kind of a fine Sharpie edge to them. Now, The only thing with these is the same with every friction marker, pen, fine liner, whatever else that they have. Make sure you use at least 3 layers of best press, let it dry between applications or any starch. It doesn't have to be best press, it could be any starch. Um, Even though it's white, you still can end up with some kind of weird shadows on there from it. But this is my favorite for white. Okay, if you don't mind washing it or you know you're going to wash it out, go ahead and try the blue washable pens too. These are really, really nice. But these are not erasable with an iron. And if you do iron with this on your fabric, it will become permanent. So that's why I don't do that one very often. Okay. Next. Oh, Lee comes up with a great idea here. She said you could put the lookbooks in plastic page protectors very inexpensively. And Lee, you're exactly right. Oh, Debbie, thank you. Another fun project. Oh, you're welcome, Linda. Appreciate it so much. Can't wait to make the stems between the flowers. I know, isn't it fun, Betty? I think it's great. Oh, Ronnie, thank you so much. Mariella, hi, thank you. Oh, Lisa, Crayola washable markers, but you must wash the quilt when it's done. Okay, that's another one. Lee, do you know if they become permanent if you iron them before you wash them? That would be my big fear. I would end up forgetting what I used on it, iron it, and then it would be permanent, and then I would be stuck with these marks all over there. Oh, Dee Dee, you're welcome. Kelly, you too. Thank you guys so much for being here. I do appreciate it greatly. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. So Steady YouTube channel, 906 Quilting YouTube channel. We are also on Facebook. A reminder that Facebook is going to be deleting all videos greater than 30 days. Um, but we will be keeping them on YouTube as long as they let us. Okay. So tomorrow night we are going to work on what are we working at? Background fills. Awesome. The Hearts and Circles class starts tomorrow. So if you haven't signed up for it yet and you want to, you still have time. We'll be meeting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for our first class. And if you do sign up, I will get you the link before then. Okay. So until we meet again, let's quilt.